Hola,
Gracias.
Gonzalo.
Hola, Saja. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm happy that I'm being able to talk with you. I love the film. I love your work in the film.
Thank
And
you.
the first time I saw it, it made me think a lot about how you can get approached to do a movie like this, and how you have to prepare yourself, emotionally. So, what was that previous preparation? And not reading your lines, not learning the script, but how did you get into it emotionally?
Being Palestinian and knowing about the story from beforehand plays a very big role, when you find out what the film is about. Because during auditions, we didn't know, it was kept hidden. It was only when we got the call back when we found out what the film it talks about. And I think it was an immediate, no questions asked type of role. And you want to honor the story because we understood what it meant. It's a film that's going to represent us. And personally, for me as an actor, I want it to be as open and vulnerable and real as I can be because it deserves that and more.
And I want to ask you. I remember once I was talking with Isabelle Huppert, the French actress, and she told me that for her she doesn't take anything from the set into her house. That she has like kind of a switch. She switches on or off, and she's able to leave everything behind. Not necessarily during the filming of the movie, but afterwards. Have you been able to shake away the emotions that this movie brought to you?
When you're working in such close proximity to what's happening also outside of the film, it's hard to switch it on and off because this film exists in the story exists in the film and it exists outside. So it's not much about being able to do that, more about understanding how important it is to live in a world where you're able to have these conversations. Because for so long, I couldn't even have these types of conversations. So cinema really allows you to, to be part of a film. I think that is amplifying a voice that in the news is shut down. It makes me want to keep talking about it. I don't want to switch it off. If that makes sense. Emotionally, of course, I'm able to protect myself and detach from that, but I'm not able to detach from the importance of speaking up about it. So I can have this conversation with you. I won't cry about having this conversation with you because I believe in how important it is to keep the dialogue going.
Another thing that kept me thinking is the perspective that your character gives us, not just regarding the call, but also how call centers operate. How
Hmm.
how these people in a certain way have to be detached from the people they are talking to, but how difficult it can be not to get involved emotionally. Did you have that conversations with your director?
So actually, I had this conversation with Rena, the woman that I portrayed, and I found her very courageous to actually lead with the heart because, Rena is the head of communication. She's a very strong woman. And I think what makes her strong is the fact that she's able to be vulnerable and, lead with heart and still do her job. Unfortunately, to this day, she deals with multiple cases like Hind. But the what separates Hind from the rest of the cases is that there is the read recording and there is that archive witness of what happened. But to be able to connect with someone and then eventually you aren't able to save them, you're working in impossible situations, you know that at the end of the day it's not in your hands, but to still choose to do the work and show up every single day is strength. And I wanted to show, especially when we had this conversation with the director in the beginning, she wanted to make sure that it shows that Rena was tired at the beginning because her shift was done. She was leaving. She had already dealt with a lot of similar cases, but it shows you that when emotions also get involved, it makes you even more desperate to want to help this person. And that happens to them in a lot of the cases because, at the end of the day, they're human. And I appreciate that she chose to tell it from their perspective too, because a lot of the times, their story, their role gets overlooked. They're the ones that have to deal with a lot of these cases, and they're the ones that are still active to this day.
It's been such a pleasure getting to know you, getting to talk with you. Thanks so much for your
Thank
time.
you, Gonzalo.